If you have just purchased a TI Nspire graphing calculator because your math course at school requires the use of a graphing calculator and you don't know what to do because this is the first time you're taking a look at it and it all seems so daunting, then this video is for you. When you first switch on the calculator, this is what you should see. This is the home screen. Now, while I'm at it, I might as well say that what I'm sharing is from the software, and each one of you who's purchased a TI Nspire graphing calculator will have access to a software like this, a student version if you're a student, a teacher version if you're a teacher, which means that when you receive the packet containing the calculator, it would have contained a 31-digit serial code, like a license key for any software that you have. If you've already thrown it away, then I suggest that you get in touch with the distributors, because I cannot emphasize enough how useful this software is going to be throughout your exploration, investigation, and learning in the classroom. So let's get on with it. On the home screen, we can see these two columns. One is a scratch pad and one is the documents. The scratch pad is just like the name suggests. It's a rough notepad, but the real power is in the documents section. So I normally discourage my students from going into the scratch pad. There are only two options, and that's also limited. But like I said, the better options are on the document side. So stick to the side of the GDC. At the bottom of the screen, you can see 7 colorful icons representing the different apps that's present on this particular GDC. The first one is the calculator app. The second one represents the graphing app. The third one is the geometry app. This is the list and spreadsheet app. This is the data statistics app. This is the notes app. And this is for a Vernier app. And yes, you heard it right, Vernier app, which means this particular calculator can also be used in your physics class, in your biology class, in your chemistry class, which dispels this myth that this is only for math students and math teachers and math courses, okay? The TI Nspire CX-II has got many features that can be used for STEM and not just mathematics. Now, on the home screen, I want to bring your attention to a couple of things here. First one is this number 5, settings. This controls like the universal settings for your calculator. When you click that, you can see change language, document settings pertaining to a particular document, handheld setup, and several other things. Of these, the first one let's look at is status. When you click on status, you will see the version. This is the operating system of your GDC. So if it is not 5.3 as of today, which is the 8th of July 2021, then I think the operating system on your calculator deserves an upgrade. So this is where you go and find out what the operating system on your calculator is. The other thing that you can do on the settings page is that you can go on the document settings. This is also important. The display digits talks about the accuracy with which a number is displayed on the calculations that you follow. There are two terms here. One is float and one is fix. Let me just tell you what the difference is. Float refers to significant figures, and fix refers to decimal places. Whether you're an IB student or whether you're an IGCC student, the most common thing in the exam is float 3. So I'm just going to keep it at float 3 for now. This is also the place where you can change the angle measure, from degree to radian. You can change the mode here for the angle. There are other things also you can change among the calculations. You can see that whether real to complex, the calculation mode, whether you want exact or approximate. I think the exact comes in the CAS model, but you can keep it on auto if you like that. So the settings that's pertaining to a particular document, this is where you have to come to make the changes. Now, to understand this better, the float, the fix, let's take an example. We'll go and insert a calculator page. So this is a calculator page, and let's just do a simple calculation. Now, this is beginner's level. So we're just going to do something like 1 divided by 2 and just see what happens. And it gives you 1 divided by 2 as 1 divided by 2, as if there is no calculation that has been performed. But actually, the settings on my calculator was set to exact. Let me just go and check. Okay, so we go to the home screen. And this is what I wanted to emphasize about the home screen. Whenever you are on a particular page, like I was on the home screen, and your answer is in a certain display mode and you don't know how to change, this is where you come to. So you hit the home screen, come to your settings, click on settings, and I go to the document settings this time. And here it says float 3, but then the calculation mode was auto. So what do? Either I can change it to approximate here. So let me do that and show it to you. If I change it to approximate, hit OK, and then hit number 4 to current document. It takes me to the current document. Now, either I can write 1 by 2 again. Let me do that, 1 over 2, and I hit enter. And this time it shows 0.5. So either I could have entered 1 over 2 again, or I could have used the arrow keys. This is the trackpad with the mouse trackpad, something like that. So the top arrow key, if I hit it once, it'll go to the previous entry, the last previous entry. If I hit the second time, one entry before that. And then, because I want that 102 and I don't want to enter it again, I can just hit enter and that expression is brought down. And if I want, I can even edit that expression. If, say, for instance, instead of 102, I wanted 302. Okay. Now, if I hit enter, because the settings are on approximate mode, if I hit enter, we got the answer as 1.5 correct to 3 SF, it is 1.5. Okay. Now, let's get back to that settings. Remember, that's the home screen, number 5. I'm just going to go back to the document settings. And this time I'm going to bring it back to, let's say, auto. I'm going to keep it at auto. Float 3 is fine with me. And I'm going to hit enter and I'm going to go to the current document that was open, which is the calculator page. Now, I'll hit the top arrow key just to demonstrate how you can, use these features, bring it back. And now when I hit enter, as you saw before, it gives me the fraction. Remember, settings, we are on auto, which is like the exact value. So if on this mode, I want to get the answer as a decimal, instead of hitting enter, I will hit control enter. When I do that, voila, there I get the same thing without changing the setting. So let me demonstrate that again. I bring that fraction back and I hit control enter. So what that means is that even if your calculator is set to an exact mode, you can get the approximate value by hitting control enter. All right. The next thing, you see this key to the right hand side of 9? That is called a template key. All right. So when you look at that, you can see all the templates. The first thing is for a fraction. Let's use that. So when I hit that fraction template, you can see this template for the fraction. So all that we did was 1/2, 3/2. You can actually use this template and say, okay, you can enter 2/3. And then you can just hit control enter and get the value of 2/3 in approximate form up to 3SF as 0.667. So right now, I just wanted to show you this template key, which is to the right of 9, where you've got templates for the square root. And if I hit that, you can find the square root of, say, 3, up to 3SF this time. And if you hit control enter, you'd get up to 3SF as 1.73. On the other hand, if I use the top arrow key, bring that previous entry down, and if I hit enter as it is, remember, because the settings, this particular document settings is auto, you should get the answer as square root of 3, exact value, not the approximate value. Okay. So now if you were to go back to our home key and change the settings, the document settings from, let's say, float 3 to, we wanted up to, let's say, for whatever reason, the question said you want up to 4 decimal places. Okay. Fix represents the decimal places. So I made it to fix 4 and hit enter, and I come back to the current document. I want the current document and I want to do root 3. Okay, so I use the top arrow key once and twice and bring back the previous entry. And this time when I hit control enter, I should get the value of square root of 3 up to 4 decimal places, as you can see. So this is a very important feature to know, that whichever page, whichever app you're working with, if there is a certain degree of accuracy that's required in that particular problem, where should you go and change those settings? You can go on the home screen, and number 5 is the settings, and anything pertaining to that particular document. Typically for IB and IGCSE exams, it's required that the students must report the answers to 3SF. So I normally encourage students to leave this at float 3, and then you can hit OK. All right, so let's get back to our current document. The other keys on the keypad are pretty much self-explanatory, and we'll go through some of the cool features of it in other videos. But the main thing which I wanted to highlight in this particular video is the home key and the settings. So if you are in any particular document, how do you come to this place and make changes to get the answer the way you want to get the answer? The other thing which I spoke to you earlier about was about the operating system. And if you do not have the latest operating system, you need to go to the TI website, which is education.ti.com, as you can see right up there. Okay, when you go there, you can go on downloads. And when you're on downloads, it will say all software, OS, and apps. So you can see that on the screen, right? You can go there, and this is pretty much self-explanatory. Once it loads up, my internet is seemingly very slow. There you go. You can choose your particular technology, whether it's TI Nspire CAS, non-CAS, CX-II, whichever one that is. And there's also a list of other stuff given here. You can download that, and it's pretty much self-explanatory how you download your operating system. But I just wanted to show where you can go and download the operating system. This is also the place where you can go and download your software. Remember, I told you about that serial key, the 31-digit serial key, the license key for a software. Everyone who has purchased a TI Nspire graphing calculator will have access to a software. So I'd strongly recommend that you use both. It is almost like getting two calculators for the price of one, but you can also do your projects. You can work on your IAs. If you're an IB student, you can do some explorations. There's a lot of fun activities on the TI website. If you're a teacher, you can take a look at some of the activities here. Using the software, it's easier to share with your teacher all the work that you've been doing in class, because with the handheld screen, there's not much that the teacher can see via the camera. Or even if it's a project that you're working on, you can actually take a screenshot. There's a icon, can you see that camera icon there that actually will take a screenshot of whatever the current page is, and you can take a screen capture of that. It'll come in as an image and you can incorporate that into your Word document, your PowerPoint, whatever it is that you're presenting with. I have made use of that screen capture feature when I have to explain something to my students, or if I give them a solution key, and then I just take the screen capture and put it there on my notes, whether to do that, or sometimes when I give them a set of instructions, when I want to give them instructions on how to use, I make use of the screen capture option, and I put it there and give it to them as notes. I have found the software to be extremely useful in conjunction with the handheld, and I would like to encourage you also to try it out. And if you're a student, you can go on the website and take a look at some of the coding activities. There are STEM activities, and for these activities, it's better to do it on the software than on the handheld, again, because of the screen size. So I encourage both students and teachers to start using the software in conjunction with your handheld. In the next video, we're going to talk about problems and pages.